For centuries, we've pictured the universe as a vast, empty room. Everything inside is made of tiny, indestructible, solid beads floating through absolute nothingness. But if we look closely at the underlying mechanics of reality, that picture falls apart. There is no empty space, and there are no solid beads. Instead, the universe is built on a substrate. It's an ocean of pure, relentless activity, constantly churning and reorganizing itself. Within this substrate, activity splits into two roles. When local regions sync up and coordinate their movements together, we call that contact. The surrounding, uncommitted activity, the restless capacity that isn't locked into a pattern yet, is the void. Reality manifests as localized patterns of coordination, temporary behaviors emerging within a continuous medium. So, what is a particle in this churning ocean? It's simply a recurring pattern of contact. It's a localized rhythm, a structure called a shell closure, that manages to repeat itself amidst the chaos. A pattern survives through identity through replacement. As the shape moves, its physical constituents constantly swap out. The overarching geometry stays perfectly intact by pulling in new, uncommitted void from its leading edge, replacing outgoing parts with fresh activity. If physical matter requires an active intake of new resources just to exist from moment to moment, how does anything survive to build a universe? Look at a single pattern surviving on its own, a cascade. To push forward, it rapidly consumes surrounding chaotic energy, fueling its momentum. This consumed energy comes from slack, the finite available capacity in the local substrate. It's the free room a pattern requires to move, rearrange, and maintain its structure. This graph shows a single cascade's fatal flaw. The steep line is slack consumption. The flat line is replenishment. A solo pattern burns capacity faster than it recruits new void. At the intersection, capacity hits zero. The pattern dissolves. This is slack starvation. Existence is a continuous, finite economic drain. A single, isolated pattern is mathematically doomed to starve. But what if the pattern is in a dense environment and successfully recruits surrounding structure? It runs into the exact opposite problem. It hits over-constraint. When a pattern becomes too dense with coordinated contact, compaction pressure rises, and the structure becomes crowded. Without free room, it jams. It loses mobility, internal turnover stalls, and the structure freezes, suffering complete lock-in. These doomed patterns, flashing into existence only to rapidly starve or freeze, actually have a name. We traditionally refer to them as virtual particles. Because a lone pattern is trapped between these two extremes, running out of resources or freezing, a single cascade can never become permanent matter. If single patterns always fail, what mechanical mechanism allows for the stable matter we see all around us? The answer is a paired closure. To breach the threshold into permanent reality, two complementary patterns, each with perfectly inverted structures, must couple together. This creates a brilliant mechanical load-sharing system. When the first cycle gets too dense and flashes a high-pressure warning, it doesn't freeze. Instead, it ejects its excess slack directly into the second cycle, instantly relieving its own compaction pressure. The two cycles oscillate in perfect antiphase. By constantly passing resources back and forth, they balance the structural ledger. When one is high, the other is low. This prevents both slack starvation and over-constraint. This closed-loop resource exchange is the literal, mechanical engine of stable persistence. In the physical register, this mechanical requirement for inverted, load-sharing partners manifests as the particle and antiparticle pairs found in the heart of every atom. These partners keep each other alive by redistributing slack and over-constraint, ensuring that the local recurrence never exits its viable tolerance. This cooperative structure scales upward, providing the foundation for stars, planets, and the cells in our own bodies. Physical matter is not made of isolated, indestructible objects. Everything that endures is built on dynamic, perfectly balanced relational partnerships.